Hey guys, Azrael here, back again with another review. Today we'll be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Gold Label Walmart exclusive Suit of Sorrows Azrael. Now before we get into this review, I'd like to give a very special shout out to the local friend who shall not be named for privacy reasons. Unless you're a ding-dong like T-Biz and slip in a video. I hope he doesn't mind that. Either way, I'd like to give him a very special shout out for picking this up for me the other day. Because without him, I probably wouldn't have this guy. And this is one of the few multiverse variants I actually really wanted. And just a side note, before we really get into it. Not the one, not the two, but the 3 pieces of tape on the top of the box here. And then just one at the bottom. So, yeah, that Shazam was totally returned crap that Target put back out on the shelf, because screw you, Target. Moving on. Comes with a collectible trading card. There you go. There's the back. Pause and read that at your own leisure. Now we will be comparing this guy to the red Azrael from the White Knight series. The 3 figures in that, it was him, Batman, and the Joker. Or Jack Napier, whichever you want to call him. There was an Azrael Batman 2, which I'm surprised we haven't got that repainted in red yet. But I'm sure that will happen sometime in the near to distant future, the way McFarlane's pumping out these variants. Probably easier to do that, to kind of fill the void while they're working on new tooling, so I get it. You don't have to get them, but if you want them, they are there. But I believe with this Red Hood, Azrael, there is a Red Hood unmasked, which is also a Walmart exclusive deal, and the King Shark from Suicide Squad with bloody teeth and disemboweled human body parts. I'm not sure what all is on the back of the box, but those are out, as well as the battle-damaged Batman that I took a look at, what was it, last week? So yeah. But, of course, as promised, we will be doing a comparison to the original Azrael during the comparisons. But he also comes with a stand. It's a standard DC stand. And he also comes with his mighty sword with the removable fire effect piece. I wish this was blue. Seems a bit demonic to put with a Templar Knight. But to each their own, I guess. But he comes with the same sword as the other Azraels. It comes right out. He's got a better grip on it this time around, I think. But you can see the hilt there. A little bit less paint on the sword, too, I think. It's got that nice gold. Not quite sure what's going on with the handle, but yeah, it's a little bit less paint this time. Which is fine. It's whatever. Now, I will say, this Azrael is not really based on the White Knight comics. He did not look like this in White Knight at any point, I don't believe. This is more less supposed to be a stylization of one of his more classic designs. I want to say post-Nightfall he was running around in a Templar Knight looking costume like this. And with that said, I don't mind the fact that it is a repaint of that Azrael figure. That Azrael figure was top 3 figures of the year and made it into the Overlord Action Figure Hall of Fame because it was a really nice release. But I'm going to say right now, I do wish they did a couple of things different on this guy. First and foremost, the proportions. Maybe made the feet and hands a little different, more proportionate with the body. Added a little bit more red to the shoulders here. And then down here on the legs, I think these could have been red as well. The gauntlets, I think, are fine. The shoes, I think, are fine. The torso's fine. This actually is painted. I did not think it was. This shoulder pad. But yeah, I think he could have used a little bit more red. Like this dark red on his hood here and on his cape. It would have been nice to see a little bit more of that thrown in here, here, and on his legs. But other than that, you know, maybe left his diaper white. But other than that, this is, again, a nice release. It's a variant of a figure we already have, so you don't need to buy it. I wanted to because I love Azrael, and I don't have a ton of them. But articulation on this guy, his head will rotate side to side. Pretty easy. He looks up and down. I will say, I think he usually has a red mask, doesn't he? With this look. Again, it is stylized, but I'm just pointing that out. Shoulders go out to the side pretty far, at least on this side. This side's going to be a lot more hindered because of the big honking shoulder pad, which feels a little bit more flexible this time around, but it's not flexible enough to give you really any range. But he does have that butterfly joint thing going on. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it is there. And he does rotate. It does take a lot of effort to get it back down. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got a single joint at the elbow. He's got a hinge and swivel at the wrist, which this one's going up and down at the moment, and then this one goes in and out. I will say the elbow hinges are significantly looser on this guy than the previous one. That's not that big a deal, but, you know, something to note. Torso goes back that far. This guy actually has a decent amount of crunch on him, so we'll give him props there. It does rotate, it does tilt side to side, so you do have that. Again, like I said on the original release, be careful with this cape. These are rubber pieces glued in here and here. And then the little tassels for the cape are glued in separately up here. You don't want to break these off, but they are PVC, so should not be that big of a problem. Hips kick forward, they kick back, they kick out, back in. He's got a thigh cut that does work pretty well. I think it worked better on the old one, but don't quote me on that. It does have a double jointed knee, which actually gets really floppy here. That kind of sucks, but I typically don't even use the bottom joint, and it's stiff where it needs to be. Let's try the other side. It's kind of like that on both sides. Maybe it was like that on the old one. I'm not sure, but you don't really need to be putting Azrael in poses that require this bottom joint past here anyways, do you? I mean, that far without being floppy's not bad. That's about half the joint. And then his foot, or his feet, are on the hinges with the rotation and the rocker and the whatnots. And then he's got a toe hinge. And peg holes at the bottom of his feet. Does anyone super glue these toe hinges? Because they're kind of useless and look terrible. I'm curious. My phone's going off. But giving him his sword here, which can be easier said than done. My apologies if my phone does go off more than once during this video. I'm expecting some important massages, so gotta leave it on. Hopes that maybe I will get those, but we shall see. Standing him back up here. He stands pretty well. I think he stands a little easier than the other one. Which kind of sucks because I like that one more, but is it Overlord Toy Hall of Fame or Action Figure Hall of Fame material? Because he's not going to qualify for top 10 of the year. It's not, I usually don't put just straight repaints on there. For the overall list, he might make the Multiverse list. I don't think he's going to be action figure Hall of Fame material. I think he could use a little bit more paint here and there. But he's definitely a nice release if you missed out on the other one. I would still say maybe try and track that one down because it is so nice. It looks so good. And the costume fits this sculpt a lot better because that's what it was made for. But this one's really nice too. I do dig this figure. I think he's cool. I think he'd be a nice compliment to that Etrigan that's coming out. So, but with that being said, let's take a look at some comparisons. First up, and as promised, here's the new Suit of Sorrows Azrael next to the White Knight Azrael, the figure that first utilized this buck. And as you can see, I think the red one still takes the cake. I think the paint's a lot nicer. It just works better on this body. But the Suit of Sorrows is still a nice variant if you are interested in that. Of course, they are the same size, too. They're not going to be different in size because it is, again, the same buck. Yeah, I gotta say the sword on the Suit of Sorrows is a bit weak compared to the first release there. I do wish the flame was maybe a different color and maybe the sword had a little bit more paint on the hilt, but that's just me. And last but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus and the Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and while I am happy to get another Azrael figure to add to my collection, I still think the original release of this guy from the White Knight series, the red version we did a comparison with earlier, is the better of the two Azraels that we've gotten from McFarlane Toys over the past year, actually. The red one came out a whopping year ago now. How about that? But with that being said, if you did miss out on that version and can only find this one for a decent price, then by all means pick this guy up. I don't think he is any slouch by any stretch of the imagination, although I do think he would have benefited from a little bit more red paint and maybe a blue flame to go on that sword. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. Gotta show that algorithm who's boss, right? Don't forget to hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions and leave a comment in the comments section below. Let me know what you think of this guy, whether you want him, love him, or hate him. And as always, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.